Hey everyone, welcome back to the Emotionally Intelligent Parenting Podcast. I have this guy on again, Alex, the husband, because we have another story. What? Just picked a hair off my face. Thank you. We have another story that came from. We have another story that came from. We have another story for you guys that literally came from our house last night.
Yep.
We had to have a quick conversation about how much we would share and how many details, because obviously it's our family and it's our kids, and we want to keep some details private. But this is the stuff that every bloody family, I think, is facing, especially in this world right now of online games and videos and screens and technology. So yeah, we had to talk about coming on and sharing it with you guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. We tried not to talk about it too much before recording, but we did want to talk about we didn't want to talk about kind of the sensitive information. But anyway.
Yeah,
full disclosure.
Yeah, so we'll explain what happened. It was totally recent last night, and we did debrief about it afterwards. We were like, wow, we think we handled that pretty well. And I was proud of the way that we spent time talking about the issue with our
Tell them the issue.
Son.
They want to know.
Okay, I just want to give a bit of background. That's what I do. I waffle a bit and then I get into the meat of it. Okay, we were cooking dinner and our son was on the computer, and don't know what our daughter was doing, but
living room.
Yeah, in the living room, and we called the kids over because dinner was ready, and then I didn't hear this little particular section go down, but you did.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask, you can talk about your sort of perception of what happened, because all I heard was something along the lines of, "What is that? What did you say?" from you. You jumped on something, and I was getting the plates or something. I was like, what? Something happened. And you were talking to our son about something he had just said on the computer.
I don't exactly want to say what was said. It was inappropriate, but it was kind of one of those, I guess it's like a meme. You have to know. It doesn't make sense if you're not in the know. And I assume most kids aren't in the know when it's talking about that sort of stuff. But it was just a couple of words that really piqued my interest, and clearly my son thought nothing of it, which is understandable. It's one of those, you get one of those adult jokes in a kid's movie, and just don't get it. But
it was an adult term that he had said that he was reading out from what a friend online obviously had said to him.
Yeah. So essentially, I didn't know what the context was. I just heard him say those two words, and I was like, what in the world is going on?
It is something that kids should not know about. It's actually in the media at the moment.
It's all right. We don't have to get into the details, but whatever it was more mature content. It was adult related. Kids didn't need to know about it.
Adult graphic content.
And he was reading it out loud it meant nothing, right? Because it did mean nothing to him. It was just what his friend was telling him to write down, tell him to write down. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I need to know if he's about to Google this information, or if he's about to receive an image or something along those lines. So I was immediately my ears pricked. I went straight over before I would assume he was about to hit enter on something that I didn't want him to see. And I just darted around the corner. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? What are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, you kind of jumped on it.
I didn't want him to hit enter, right?
You don't want him to search the term. It's a term that if you searched these couple of words, you would be faced with some graphic images and
especially if you just
stuff
Google,
that, he's almost 11. In hindsight now, at the time, obviously I had no idea what was going on, but now I know kids should not be searching that kind of stuff. It's going to show up explicit content basically. And so, yeah, you obviously heard the terms, the couple of keywords. I didn't. And so you went over there and you were like, don't delete it. Don't touch anything. Just let me have a look basically.
Yeah. Stop, get away. Anyway, it ended up being his friend inviting him onto Discord, which is kind of like WhatsApp. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a communication app. You can use it for streaming, if you're gaming with your friends, streaming video, that sort of stuff. It's just a kind of online gaming chat that most people use when they're gaming. And I've used it with my son.
Is it a bit like Skype?
Yeah.
Like you can
Skype.
talk online with people who, let's say you're playing Minecraft,
And
like
you can share screens.
Yeah.
So you guys can kind of see where this can be dangerous. But my son isn't on it unless I'm like right there. And anyway, it was basically just his friend's name. And thank goodness that's all it was. Username. And not throwing any shade at the kid, because I'm sure he doesn't know what it means either. He's probably heard it through... He's probably a good kid. Like, we know this kid. He is a good kid. He's just been exposed to certain information that he doesn't even know what it means.
I'm like, how?
People are probably throwing it around, maybe on YouTube videos that he's watching, maybe his friends groups that are watching.
Yeah.
These people are throwing it around, and they throw it around as a joke. And he doesn't know the meaning, I would assume.
He cannot know the meaning. Like, you would not use these couple of terms as a username if you knew the meaning.
Yeah.
Like, no adult would, maybe some deranged ones, but kids, like 10, 11-year-olds, certainly would not.
If they knew what it meant.
If they knew what it meant.
Yeah.
You know, it's like adult lingo, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah, and, oh, damn, what was I going to say? Yeah, and that kind of opened up a huge conversation about Discord itself. And we don't let our kids use devices unsupervised.
Yep.
And we don't shelter our kids from devices, because moments like these show up and they allow us to teach and learn and explain. So it's that balance. It's like how much you expose them to. You don't want to completely shelter them.
Yeah.
You also want to have the ability for these situations to rise in a safe place where we can discuss it and have a conversation about it. So yeah.
So
We did.
What happened right after that is, obviously, we ate dinner, and then we talked as we ate with the kids for... How long do you think we had that conversation
Probably about
for?
an hour.
An hour.
It wouldn't be no longer than an hour,
No.
but it would have been close.
Yeah, at least like 30, 45, maybe an hour. And that was an eye-opening, like, I think for the kids, and our youngest was there too. So we were obviously... This is the thing, we had to be careful. We had to use like age-appropriate language. I was very worried in a way. I was like, how do we... Like, this, I think, is, again, a universal problem for parents. How do we explain that he shouldn't be aware of these, like, these are bad, dangerous, or, like, explicit, inappropriate concepts, and, like, pull him away from it, saying that's not okay, like, your friend should not have that, yet not pique his interest so much, because kids' interest, like, curiosity is gonna, you know, come around.
Yeah, it's
and so like I was like, but what if I was like, babe, what if he like goes to Google these terms now? Like, he's gonna be faced with, which is a total possibility.
Even if he goes to a friend's house that doesn't have the supervision that we have, or someone has a phone at school, you know, if he's curious and he types in those words.
I know. And yeah, like it's, I mean,
he is at that age now.
Yeah.
Where kids are starting to get that autonomy, and, you know, this is the hard times, I think.
He's getting more and more independent because he's at that age where he's riding around, scooting around to friends' houses and catching up with them and hanging out on the weekends. And, you know, parents, like, we had to explain to the kids, I was like, all parents have their different values and belief system and what's important to them and what is okay and what's not. And they all, like, we have I was just talking to someone about this, we have our culture in our family. Our culture is that we do this and we do that, and that's not okay, and we don't do this. Like, it's like a workplace, right? You create a culture. So I was like, guys, yeah, some families have this culture where parents are not not conscious, but like intentional, aware, conscious, kind of like, you know, on top of what their kids are doing and watching and who their friends are. Some parents are more hands off. And I was like, we're not like that. And the only reason is because we're here to protect you, and to make sure that you have safe boundaries and, like, you're accessing stuff in a safe way. Like, it's so hard.
Yeah, it's so hard. And I think you can go two extremes with it, and we're trying to be somewhere in the middle. You can say no devices ever, because we don't want you exposed to this at all. You can't go to friends' houses that use internet. Like, you know, you could go full one way, and then you can go the other way, which is do whatever you want, right? So we're trying to find that middle ground that suits us, and we think that's appropriate, and we know that he's going to be exposed to it, but we kind of want to kind of delay it for as long as we can while educating him of what's out there.
Yeah.
You know, because it's inevitable and we can't be there all the time, which is why we've tried to find that balance between having technology and not allowing certain sites and parental controls and all that sort of stuff, and making sure that it's only on when we're around, you know. But it's difficult, and like you said, it's so difficult to have that conversation without piquing the interest where they go out there and trying to research it themselves.
And do you remember his reaction? Like his reaction changed multiple times as we went through the conversation.
Yeah.
I think at first he thought
he was confused.
Yeah. He was confused. And so that's why I was like, okay, how do we explain why we are being so decisive about this or taking this so seriously?
Yeah.
And yet not putting the fear into him and into his younger sister who was there too.
And how do you do it without being the bad guy?
Yeah.
I think we navigated it pretty well. Essentially what we said was, hey, we could just ban all devices and be done with it. And we don't want to do that. We don't think it's fair. We know you like spending time online with your friends.
Yep.
So what we're trying to do is find the best solution and not the easy solution. So we discussed it with him and explained. And in the end, we decided no more Discord, because they are getting to that age of independence where if their friend sees something inappropriate, they can send it through Discord.
Yes.
And he wasn't happy with that. And I go, look, I understand you're not happy, but we're trying to protect you. And he did understand in the end, genuinely.
He did.
Without us pressuring him.
And the thing is, can I jump in here and say that this is the culture thing I'm talking about in our family. Both kids know, but he knew in that moment, or he saw that we were taking it seriously, and yet we were listening to him about what he liked about using Discord. I was like, what do you get from it? I get to talk to my friends. And why do you like it? And do your friends use it? We were having that. Remember the other day we were talking about including them, giving them choice, control, letting them have a voice and listening to that. Yes, we make the decision in the end, but we're taking his not complaints seriously, but concerns. Yeah, we were taking that into account. And so it just shows that when we make a decision like this, our kids know that most of the time we're kind of yes parents. If it's safe, if it's good, if it's healthy, if they can and we have time, sure, we'll go and do that thing. So when we say a big no, they're like, okay, there's obviously a fair reason. I mean, we explain our reasons, but do you know what I mean? They're not like, you're always like this, you never listen.
Very rare that we say no and don't give a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do. When I'm just super tired and I just cannot be stuffed having a debate with a kid. I'm just like, no, not right now. I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. And they're like, why? I'm like, please go away. Sometimes I just don't have the energy to have that debate. But bigger issues like this, we put the time and effort in and we get such good results from our kids.
Yeah.
And collaborative problem solving from our kids. It's amazing. And in the end, he told me several times that night, I'm not sure if you're aware, but he goes, Dad, I love you. I love you. And it was just he had so much love because he really did understand that we're trying to take care of him. We're not.
I think that's so we can't overstate that he, even though we said no to something that he really loves and he it connects him with his friends, he was able to still stay connected with us. We were connected with him, and he was like, I love you. How often does that happen when parents have to say a no to a thing that a kid likes and yet they still have that love and affection and connection? Most of the time to the parents for the next 24 hours because they're so mad.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to get down to kind of how we did that, but I also want to say that we were closer. Me and him were closer. He's like, can you come spend time with me? Can we snuggle? After that, after telling me he couldn't have something that he wanted, we were closer. Mm-hmm. I think kids like it when obviously they don't like it when you take something away they don't like, but when you explain to them why, and it's because you love them and you want to take care of them and the dangers involved, we went through all the dangers of Discord and sharing photos and videos and seeing things that you shouldn't see. We went through all that. It was a 45-minute conversation. In the end, we didn't bully him and force him to stay there. We told him it was important.
Yeah.
And he ended up being closer and more connected with us and understanding that we care.
Yeah. You know what?
How's that post?
I'm trying to find the post on my phone. One thing I do want to say is later that night when we were doing tuck in at bed, I said to him, we were talking about just stuff, and I said, I wanted to bring it up and check in on him. And I was like, how are you feeling about the Discord thing? And he goes, not the best, were his exact words, not the best, but I guess I can cope with it. Like, I literally committed those words to memory because I wanted to tell you later after we finished tuck in. I was like, I've got to tell Alex. And then I knew that it was such a, like, relief and a good ending, basically, to what could have been a really stressful, like, meltdown city situation.
Yeah, I agree. And universe being the way that it is, you had something pop on your feed as well, right?
Okay, so actually,
Which is wild.
This popped up on my Instagram before bedtime. Like, we had dinner, we had the big conversation, the kids played for a little bit. Wait, was this last night? And then I went to pickleball?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so so before I left, this popped up and I was like, no way. Okay, so I'm going to read it out to you guys. It's from true_parenting_story. Maybe I'll see if I can put this in the show notes so you guys can see the exact post. It's a really good one. What I did was quickly flick through it before I shared it with the kids because you never know if they're going to mention anything that's like not child appropriate. Anyway, it was fine. So it says, a major lawsuit just rocked one of the world's biggest gaming platforms. A family has filed a legal case claiming that Roblox and Discord helped a predator groom their 13-year-old son. What really happened? Here's what the stranger did. He pretended to be a kid on Roblox. He became friends with the boy through the game. He asked him to chat on Discord, another app. He promised him Robux, in-game money, for private photos, and he found out the boy's home address. And like I said to the kids, I'm like, guys, this was a 13-year-old. Like, and he got this information.
And our boy's, 11?
So how it was possible. Roblox has some big safety problems. It doesn't check age properly. Kids can chat with strangers. Anyone can make games, even unsafe ones. So again, I've talked to the kids about how
It doesn't
Roblox...
even touch on Discord.
Yeah, I mean, Roblox, like, complete user-generated content. These holes let bad people target and trick children. Is it just Roblox? No, it's not just Roblox. We live in a digital jungle where... a world where grooming starts with a friendly message, it moves to private chats like WhatsApp or Discord, and then it can end with irreversible trauma. So I literally had to explain, like, what is irreversible and what is trauma. Like, in a kid-friendly way, I was like, let me explain what that means. Parent wake-up call. Don't just monitor screen time, monitor interactions. Teach them about online safety, use parental controls, but don't rely on them blindly. Awareness is your number one weapon. Final word, your child doesn't need to be on the streets to be in danger. Sometimes the real danger is sitting quietly inside their screen. One chat, one link, one fake friend, that's all it takes. So be aware, be involved, and be the safe space they can run to.
I mean, that sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
So good. Like, I just
be
love...
aware, be involved, right?
You've got to be aware.
Don't just give them devices and not be aware of what they're doing on it. Don't just rely on parental controls. Don't pass the buck. They're your kids. Take responsibility for what they're seeing, what they're watching. You know?
Yeah, I do want to say, like, yes, we have to take responsibility and be aware and be a lot more connected and knowing, but also, I mean, there's a whole other conversation about the gaming companies who are doing this stuff and getting away with it, and they know kids are being groomed and they know kids are being traumatized and taken and committing suicide. It's just,
you
that's a whole
can only control
other
what
thing.
you control, though, you know?
Yeah.
You can't really control other people.
Yeah. Wild.
You're going to have to make that decision. Like, if you're unable to supervise your kids on devices, especially if it's like devices that are connected to, I don't know. I think if they're playing a game, you got to find out about that game. If they're watching stuff on YouTube, you got to find out about it. And if you don't have the time and the ability to monitor what they're doing, then you have to take the devices away.
Yeah.
Like, if you...
It's a matter of safety. Literally, like, it can be physical safety, like they can be groomed and they can be... tricked and taken to meet up someone, or it can be emotional and mental safety where kids' mental health just absolutely takes a dive because they've been blackmailed or they're being bullied. Like, it's actually safety. And
they might search us up and do stuff just because they're bored too. Because you can be on technology and you can be bored and inquisitive. There was a girl in America, I don't know when, I saw the video, the body cam footage from the police where it was a fake 911 call. And she kept calling up saying that they're following a van, that someone got kidnapped. And she was just bored and really didn't think of the consequences. But she was up in her room, 13 years old, calling the police, making up fake 911 call. And then helicopters are deployed, police are deployed.
Oh my God. God.
And you can imagine that the
Yeah.
family and her got into an incredible amount of trouble. And then the parents in the body cam footage are angry at the kid. And I'm like, why are you angry at the kid? They're at home. They don't need their phone on them,
Yeah.
right? If they need to message a friend, they can come and get the phone off you, send the message, give the phone back. But there's so many things you can put into place.
Mm-hmm.
And then you expect a 13-year-old with the world at their fingertips not to do something stupid. Like, come on.
I know.
They've got to do something stupid.
Okay, so can I read out this last post? It was shared by Maggie Dent, who I love, and it is about, I think, is it the E-Safety Commissioner kind of? Yeah, let me have a look. Okay, Maggie Dent shared it just the other day. So it says, we stand with the Commissioner, YouTube must be included. At Control Plus Shift, we fully support the Australian E-Safety Commissioner and the growing number of experts, educators and parents calling for YouTube to be included in the under 16 social media reforms. YouTube is not just a video platform, it's a social ecosystem where children are exposed to algorithmic pressure, harmful content, parasocial influence, and comment-based abuse. Exempting YouTube undermines the integrity of this reform. We cannot hold some platforms to account while letting the largest slip through on a technicality. If we want meaningful protections for our kids online, there can be no loopholes. We back the Commissioner, we back the reform, and we back a future where child safety comes before platform convenience. That's control _shift_global. I'll try and get the link and put that in the show notes as well, because that just shows like YouTube. People think YouTube is safe or maybe a better option. Again, it's complete user-generated content, and YouTube itself admits that its moderators cannot handle the absolute abundance of videos that are just uploaded like daily, every minute. We just got to be more aware.
Yep. More aware and put the effort in. I think that's what I wanted to talk about in the video. Because we put that 45 minutes worth of effort in, let's say it's 45 minutes worth of effort in, with both kids because they both had questions, and try to keep it age appropriate and let them know why we're doing it. It was a hard conversation. There was many times where we paused and we're like, how do I say what I want to say without...
It was so hard.
It was like, you just got to sit there and go, give me a second, I need to think about this. How do I say this, you know? And then the consequences, okay, let's find out an appropriate consequence instead of just banning all devices. Like, what do we do? And putting the effort in made us closer with our son. He understood we're taking care of him. He understood the risks. And we told him, look, because of the nature of the app, people can send you something, and once you've seen it, it's too late. It could be a video, it could be a photo, it could be a random stranger. Like, we just can't run that risk. And your friends, and we explained it to him, we go, your friends, we're not going to say don't play with them. Your friends are good kids, but they're obviously getting access to content that we don't think is appropriate, and they could just send that through to you, not thinking about it, and now you've seen it, and now there's consequences for that. So it's not that they're bad kids, it's just they're being parented different, and we need to, put up a wall there, essentially, and just ban Discord. And it's something that we had to do. Even if I'm there, it's going to be, like I said, someone can just flick him a message and he'll see it, and then it's too late.
Yeah. And I did say, I was like, you can, I don't know if this is helpful, but I was like, you can blame me. Or you can blame us. If your friends are like, why aren't you on Discord? Or why can't you play this game? Or whatever. I'm like, always blame it on me. I don't care if you can just say, mum's too strict or mum said no. And I'm like, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable being like, well, I'm not sure. Or like, if, I don't want them to have to risk the friendship or anything. I'm like, I'll take the fall for that. So I'm happy.
Yeah. So essentially it was just a friend's name that he was about to add, which we know is a friend. It's a real person, not a groomer or anything like that. Like a kid he knows at school, he knows he can't add anyone that can't. And they just had a very spicy name. And that's all it was. But that was enough of an alarm for me to think, what if it wasn't just a name? Yeah,
we actually said, like, are you sure you know this kid, and what's his name, and how do you know? Like, we do. So we got to the bottom of that. We know it wasn't just a random... We don't allow him to, like, add random people.
Well, the thing, and on top of that, like, we know that he's friends with this kid. But even then, we're like, let's just run through the list. How do you know him? Like, we've met him. Like, we've seen the kid at school. But we're just like, is it someone, like, does he have an older brother that's like using his Discord? Like,
Yeah.
we just ran through like a whole list of stuff just to triple double check that it is who we say it was, because this stuff was just way too mature for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like we let him have friends, and they've been friends for a while. But yeah, we're just like, look, imagine it was an image or a photo. Hey, look at this photo. Anyway, it's gone now. We had to make that decision, and they're just, yeah, we're not trying to, wrap him in cotton wool, is that the saying?
Yeah, you can't.
But we can't just let him see like anything.
Yeah, because like he's obviously gone to school and is going to see his friends, and the conversation may well come up. Like, we can't protect 100%, but we can do more than like nothing, or more than hands off, and we can just be a little bit more connected and explain to our kids why we make decisions, rather than just a big blanket rule or a because I said so. I'm like, no, we need to actually tell them why.
Yep. And he didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
He wasn't in trouble. We told him, you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
We're not angry because you're friends with this person. We're not angry at your friend. Like, it has nothing to do with like blame and pointing fingers. It just has to know that like, these are the risks and we're not willing to take them. You're not in trouble. You're not a bad kid. They're not a bad kid. We're not going to tell you can't hang out with them anymore. Like, we just ran through the list, and we didn't try to make him feel guilty for something he didn't do, and it all ended really well, about as well as we could hope for, right?
Yeah. And there might be situations in the future where things don't end well, and then we have to cross that bridge. Like, we're not experts. we're sort of like finding our way through as we go. Just
Yeah, you say we're not experts, but
why? We're not.
I mean, you're pretty damn good.
I read and learn a lot about this stuff, so I feel like I'm more informed. That's a better. Yeah, I'm very informed, and
Very common sense.
you can't risk your kids' lives.
Yeah, and that's
Genuinely.
what we wanted to share, right? That's the story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we hope you found this interesting, insightful. We both would love if you guys share this with someone, a parent who maybe it's like a brother-in-law or a friend who you think, oh my gosh, they use this app, or they're online, or I don't know, just you can share it on your socials. You can share this podcast episode or this YouTube video, share it for people to see, and they, some people won't click on it. It's not their thing. Others, you never know the impact that you can have, like the ripple effect. You have absolutely no idea. So,
and tell us what you think and what you would have done differently, if anything. Let us know. And if you think we're doing something wrong, tell us as well.
Yeah.
Just give us as much feedback as you can, and let us know what you think.
Just be nice. No, just don't sugarcoat it. Let us know, if you have any other ideas or suggestions or disagreements. Thank you. We appreciate you guys being here and taking the time to listen and to watch this stuff. I think it matters, and I think it's like, even if we're just changing a family at a time, and the way that you think about boundaries and rules and stuff with your kids, like online and social media stuff, like that's doing its job.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.